Okay, so when we look at these, we want to remember a couple definitions. First of all, we want to remember that linear pairs are two angles that add up to 180 degrees. We want to remember that vertical angles are angles that are across from each other. That is not how you spell that. And then we want to remember that congruent angles mean that they are the same angles. We want to remember that complementary angles, they add up to 90 degrees, and supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. Sorry for my chicken scratch, but hopefully that just gives you all of the pieces so you can figure out all of the questions that it's asking. So for this first one, it wants a linear pair, meaning it wants two angles that form a straight line. You could pick any two that you want on here. I'm going to pick 1 and 2. Vertical angles means it wants two angles that are across from each other. Again, you have multiple options to pick from. I'm going to pick 5 and 8. Those are two angles that are directly across from each other when the two lines are formed. Last are congruent angles. Again, remember, vertical angles and congruent angles are the same thing. So if you want, I could pick 5, 8 again, or I'm going to pick different numbers. So this time I'm going to pick 2 and 3, which again are also congruent angles, or also vertical angles, which we can check. So when we're looking at this, vertical angles, they're across from each other. In this instance, let's pick 1 and 4. Linear pairs are a line or two angles that make a straight line. We can see that happens with 6 and 5. And then again, supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. Or in other words, they are another linear pair. We could pick anything that we want. I'm going to pick 5 and 7. Which we can check. All right, and doing this one more time, linear pair, again, form a straight line, which we can say is 6 and 8. Vertical angles are across from each other. We can say that is 3 and 2. And the last one, supplementary angles, they add up to 180 degrees or they form straight lines. So we can see that in 5 and 7, which we can go ahead and check. And that's how you identify linear pairs and vertical angles.